They are working assiduously to try and get things ready so that we can at least get some form of cricket. So Tobago Sports Live is the place to be as we get closer to the playing area. So you could definitely see that it's not really the playing area that is delaying the start of the action. It's really the outfield because of the inclement weather. But credit must go to the ground staff and the official, headed by lead groundsman Muller. They are working around the clock to try and make sure we get some form of cricket today. Everybody played a collective effort. You know, all past players, coaches, staff. So they're really doing everything to get you all some live action here today. So fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like a very good playing area. So the playing area, from what we see here, as I stated earlier, is not really the reason behind the delay, but the outfield and the different areas. We have the two officials for today's game. They must be commended because they are doing everything in their power to try and get us some form of action here today. So let us keep our fingers crossed. So join us on Tobago Sports Live for the final of the TCA 40 over competition. We are hoping beyond the boundaries of hope that some form of cricket is played here today at the Moriah Community Center.
Very soon we're going to see the first ball goal. CMB Cargo Basin Hall. CMB versus Cargo Basin Hall right here. And it's Moray and the Green Eagle.
Why are you so expensive when you call your name Adi? Adi Tija?
That is not playing. That is not playing. I will that. I will.
Yeah, thanks. It was you in, right?
As though it's run. So at the halfway stage, after the Scarborough Mason men were inserted by the men from Canaan and Bonaccord, they were inserted because CMB won the toss. There are 80 runs for the loss of 4 wickets. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we are at the halfway stage. So Mr. Posad, I want to extract some of your knowledge from being more involved. I think the T20 follows the 40 over?
Yeah, from next weekend the T20 is on. The groups have also been drawn. There's another group of death, as you might want to call it, for Scarborough Masonol and Club Crusoe being the last finalists. They were seated in the 2 opposite groups, but the group that houses Club Crusoe also houses CNB again, Police and Roxborough Strikers.
As the batsmen come through to complete a easy single there off the bowling of Antonio Providence. So we are in for some more humdingers in terms of games and qualifications. So I want to believe that teams who would have missed out on reaching the finals here in the 40 over, they will try to redeem and give their fans something to cheer about in the more shortened version.
Yeah, I think that would be the ultimate plan, especially for my club. I can tell you for sure. We have been able to add a few names to our repertoire now, so we should be a bit more prepared.
As they're coming through that's 2 more valuable runs to the total there. Yes, it's very important to promote events such as this, and Tobago Sports Live must be commended for the good work that they are doing. Not just cricket, just sports generally. And there seem to be some adjustments to the field there. Apparently, Antonio wants Ashon Pierre to come a little bit closer as he sets himself and he's off and he bowls to Charles, and Charles is trying to be a bit delicate, and really good awareness from Duncan there. You must commend him. That kind of awareness is commendable, Mr. Posad.
Yeah, I mean, he can't fault Elton Cruikshank there, but I mean, Antonio Providence is at the pace of a medium pacer, and he did really well to get something on it.
When you've seen Elton Cruikshank keeping wicket for C&B, it's a worrying sign. Where are the youngsters, Mr. Posad?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see that there's a chance.
And he's taken
Providence takes the catch.
And my goodness, I am sorry for Shaquille Duncan.
He's escorted by his close friend off the field.
I'm sorry for Shaquille Duncan later on. He will be a serious recipient of Sataria banter later.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio Providence would have been playing for Scarborough Mason in the last season that we would have had in 2020. So he has some adeptness to the know-how of the Scarborough Mason team, because he has seemed to stem the flow of runs.
Indeed, indeed. When I saw him suiting up for CMB, I said that CMB probably would have reached out to the 2 homegrown men and asked them to return home. I hope it was mutual departure from Scarborough Mason, but heading to the wicket there now, ladies and gentlemen. Heading to the wicket there now is Joshua James. A man that needs no introduction in terms of his cricketing exploit, former West Indies under-19 player, and recently played for the Jamaica Talawas in the CPL. So a lot of expectation will be structured and housed on the shoulders of Joshua James. Let's hope he lives to his reputation.
Yeah, and this is another internal battle because these two guys would have just finished playing the Chief Sec Bago Blast as teammates. And James just tucks it away to point and take one to get off the mark.
Yes. Now some may misinterpret my comments, but misinterpretation, as we know, is the downfall of mankind. And my opinion is that the level that Joshua James would have played at when he comes back playing here, that should be shown clearly. And some saying it's cricket is cricket, but cricket is cricket, yes. But where he would have played is above the level that he's playing now, and that should be clear. And when I see him not performing at that level, it disappoints me.
Yeah, we'd like to see Joshua come back and dominate the domestic turf, but I mean, I agree with you to a point, and I also agree with the naysayers that say that cricket is cricket, because the world over says that cricket is a batsman's game, but one ball and you're inside.
Quite correct. At the end of over number 11, am I correct? So at the end of over number 11, Scarborough Mason Hall being inserted by C&B, they are now 85 for the loss of 5 wickets.
Yeah, I think this is the period that Scarborough Mason Hall are now relying on to take this as deep as possible, because you know these two guys can score 12 to 15 runs per over quite easily on a ground that is not very massive.
Well, I asked earlier about the size of the boundaries, and I was told they said that this is one of the bigger ones in Tobago. As Daniel is in a rather quick delivery there, James got right back and played that one off his stump there. They come through to complete a single. I was told that here is one of the bigger venues. I mean, I do not know, but based on what I'm seeing, I probably believe that I might have been misled.
No, I think the grounds in Tobago in general have dimensions that are favorable to batsmen at different venues. At Shaw Park, the side boundaries tend to be the areas that batsmen would target, and at Canaan.
And Charles is hitting that one.
That's gonna fall short of.
I don't think Charles made the connection that he really wanted.
Yeah, it might have been a bit slow from Marcus, but like I was saying, at Canaan, as a batsman, you tend to go to the straighter boundaries. The thing with Mariah is that it's a balance. I think I can see the 30-yard circle from where I'm sitting, and from the boundary, it's maybe another 30 yards.
And Joshua James has said, enough is enough. Mr. Daniel, I have been playing with you long enough, and it's time that you go the distance. Hit that really easy. Mr. Posad, probably they might say I'm too emotional or I'm too passionate, but it disturbs my cricketing appetite. When can I have the privilege? Who youngster you believe that we can have the privilege of rushing one Saturday or Sunday morning to get up knowing that they have been selected to a senior squad? And representation from the island of Tobago. For years I've been asking the question, what it is with our youngsters? Who do you think that has that ability? Are we watching one man possibly who can do it? Dejon Charles, tell our viewers, Mr. Posad.
I mean, both of these guys would have come through the ranks of under 17, under 19. Dejon would have went off to football for a bit, but both of these young guys are going to be participating in the Dream 11 T10 in Trinidad again, along with Kishan Dillon. Yeah, so these are two of the youngsters, but I think if I'm going to be a betting man and place my chips somewhere, it's going to be on Orlando James.
As James hit that one rather easily back down to the captain of the CMB team, it looks as there, or is that corner? So we are witnessing the bowling of the 12th over. It's 93 for 5, 94. As we can be very grateful for the return of the sun here now. So it's now 95 for 5. We are in over number 12, being bowled by Marcus Daniel. There's some adjustments to the field. So you put your money on young Orlando James. I've been hearing a lot about that youngster. And oh my goodness. Hold on, Mr. Daniel, hold on. Just make sure he's okay.
That came off of the bat of Joshua James like a bullet. Marcus Daniel is lucky to be walking away unscathed. I mean, he might have gotten a blow to the hand, but he's very lucky that that didn't cannon into his chest.
Yes, so at the end of the 12th over, we nearly witnessed some damage on field there. As you could see, Mr. Daniel go through the necessary mental process to ease the pain. Is it a chance, or is it a chance to escape danger? 12 overs gone, 95 for 5. TCA 40 over final brought to you here live on Tobago Sports Live. And I think with that signal, Mr. Passar, we can expect an increase in the fireworks.
Yeah, and the umpires just verifying with the overs reduced. The power play would have been the first 4 overs, then they would have 4 fielders out from the 5th over to the 16th over, and then the final 4 overs, the fielding team will be allowed 5 fielders outside of the inner ring.
So it looks as though Antonio Providence will continue. You'll be bowling to Charles.
Providence about to finish as well. Marcus Daniel left the field to take some treatment, and Joel Cork is now on the field as replacement fielder.
Yes.
And there's a bit of drizzle again.
And he's hitting that one long and high into the vegetation here at the Moriah recreational facility. And it looks as though we will C&B men will have to do some retrieving. Luckily, for the sake of retrieving, some experienced men with traversing vegetation is out there in pursuit of the ball. That's 6 massive runs off the bat of Dejon Charles, and apparently Charles is ready to put a step on things here.
Yeah, I think that has to be the plan going forward now. These 2 batsmen, Charles has been there for a bit longer, should be a bit more set as the umpires are asking for a replacement ball, because it doesn't seem as though those guys that you're speaking about, knowing the vegetation here, can retrieve that one.
Yes, well, as we are interrupted by the rain there, it looks as though they are still in pursuit of the ball. But apparently, for the sake of time, they will have to forget that and probably get another ball. Oh my goodness. I hope this rain goes its way. The action has been really exciting here.
There's a bit of scatteration now. Guys rushing to get to the covers because of the bit of drizzle that's around, but the umpires are not leaving the field, so the replacement ball has been given to the bowler, and play is going to continue.
Yeah, it looks as though it's subsiding, which is good. Or is my weather interpretation wrong? And he's playing that one there. What kind of attempt is that from Pierre? It looks as Pierre. As it looks as though it's getting a little heavier here now.
Seems to be a passing cloud that's just sprinkling us every now and again.
Yes, as Providence passes, the umpire bowls to the dangerous James, and James is getting back and cutting that one. Looks as though he's and really pleased to announce that is good. It looks as though our prayers for the rain to hold its hand is being answered by the divine powers. So the drizzle has stopped, and Antonio Providence is back at the top of his mark here now. A play and a miss, all because it was a wide delivery. That's 1 valuable runs to the total, as young Dejon Charles is on strike here to Antonio Providence. And he's swinging that one, and that one, let us see. Yeah, Daniel took no chance down on the long on boundary there. He applied all the technical requirements and fielded that one and thrown it back to the playing area. That's 105 now for 5. We are in over number 13, Mr. Prasad. Do you think that that's where they will want to be at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, there were 80 odd runs in the first 10 overs. So far in the last 3 overs now, they would have added another 25 runs with a few balls to go here. So they're already scoring at close to 10 runs per over for the last 3 overs.
Well, apparently Antonio Providence would have heard the request for more runs. He just donated one to them there. That's a wide delivery from him. He's back at the top of his mark as he passes the umpire to bowl to James. And James is showing a good delivery. Respect. Or is it respect, or he's just looking to preserve himself because he know that their top bowlers are looking to come to the end of their spell? Yeah. So is it that he's just preserving himself to have a go in the latter part?
Yeah, I think that's the end of Antonio Providence, if I would have heard correctly. So both Providences are finished now. So it's gonna be there's gonna have to be an introduction of a 5th bowler, if I'm correct. So we would have seen Ansel Ned, Marcus Daniel, Anthony Providence, and Antonio Providence. So I'm thinking that Ned is gonna have to employ his 5th bowler sooner rather than later.
You are quite correct.
And it seems exactly that is happening. He is calling to the bowling crease, Ezekiel Jofield. So we're gonna see our first look at seam for the day.
Yes, indeed. We are going to see our first look at seam. And Jofield, I wonder how the footing is. You'll have to be very careful here with the very damped outfield in certain areas. But he will be charged with the responsibility of bowling over number 14, and it looks as though we are interrupted again here. Let's hope it's just blowing away and goes away from here, because we want to see cricket, and it looks as though the umpires have had enough.
This one is not looking like it's gonna pass.
This one looks as though it's serious.
Yeah, this one is
my goodness,
like it's not gonna pass.
I don't want to blight proceedings, but no, it looks as though it's going. It looks as though he has hold. So let us see what will be the decision. It looks as though it has subsided.
The end of 13 overs, the score 106 for 5. Stay tuned.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the weather would have just showed its head again, and it looks as though that's the end of proceedings for now. But from the time and the state of the game, it really looks as though that will be the last of the action as Joshua James and Dejon Charles head back to the Scarborough Mason Hall dugout.
Yes, I know that.
As there's some nursing taking place to the injury of Mr. Daniel there. Let's hope it's not too serious. Let's hope it's not too serious at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, it looks as the weather would have had the final say here in this the Tobago Cricket Association 40 over final between Scarborough, Mason Hall and CNB United. Remember, if you're just tuning in, you're probably tuning a little too late, but Scarborough Mason Hall been inserted by CNB. They are 106 for 5 wickets in the 14th over. As you witness the covers going on to the field, we await the final decision. As you see, Antonio Providence is sharing some banter to his colleague here. Ladies and gentlemen, we know not what the final outcome will be, but as soon as we have an update, as soon as we know what the final thing will be, we will be back with you here at Tobago Sports Live. there. You know, with this art form in cricket, you have to get everything has to be right to execute properly.
I mean, the outfield is already wet, so every time the ball is hit to the outfield, it's going to be hard for Addison Daniel to get any sort of grip on the delivery.
That one is high in the air. And it's taken by Daniel. Caught and bowled brilliantly by Addison Daniel there. They always say when you can take it off your own bowling, it means that you are well in the game. And I told you, Mr. Posad, I'm backing my that one is high in the air.
But that was a horrendous delivery. Deja Charles
and it's
not
taken
getting
by
the
Daniel.
Contact that he wanted. And it was a good piece of feeling from Addison Daniel. As I said, the wicket would have taken a bit of moisture with the rains during the course of the day. And it's a bit too pace. So it's kind of hard to pick up the pace of each delivery. As we see, moving to the wicket now is Akko George, better known as Shumba Lion. And I can tell you, Breaker, Akko George, he expects excellence from each and every player in his team. So you're not going to see any less from him. No. And Daniel now to bowl to Akko George. This one is pitched a bit fuller. Daniel is starting to find his stride a bit more now. Getting into his work now and pitches that one. There's no run again. Work to mid-wicket. As he picks up some dust again from the ground to try to dry the hands to get a bit more grip on the delivery. Seeing that bowls again, pitching nicely again. That's guided past short third man. Providence retrieves. And that could have been horrendous for Anthony Providence. Tried sliding and got stuck in the surface. Hope all is well with Anthony Providence there. Another 2 runs. Akko George off the mark with a brace. That one is pulled down again by Daniel and swept by Akko George.
So a very experienced duo at the wicket here.
Yeah,
we are 115 now for the loss of 6. And we're looking at time here, Mr. Posad. And it looks as though this will be the time now when James is expected to entertain us here at the Mariah Recreational Facility.
I mean, with 6 wickets down, 115 for the last 6 at 15 overs. You're going to hope that he gets off, but with 6 wickets down, it's going to be a mind-boggling situation for him as well, because losing another 2 wickets here is going to mean that Scarborough Mason Hall does not probably get past the 150 mark, but if he gets off, it could mean the difference between 150 and 180 plus.
From the northern end.
Correct assessment there. As we watch Joe Field send down the first delivery in the 16th over, he's bowling to James. And now very good delivery from Joe Field there. Good delivery, equally well played. That's a stiff delivery from young Joe Field.
This wicket is proven to be a task for the batsman now, because Joshua James would have swung before time in the last over, and now this one seems to have gotten to him faster than he thought.
Very careful here as Joe Field and James is swinging it. It's in the air. Let us see here. And he's out. So Joe Field would have gotten rid of the dangerous Joshua James. And that's a big wicket for young Joe Field there. as the men from Scarborough Mason Hall is rather stumbling in their attempt to put a total in which they believe that they can defend, or are we going to apply the whole adage of cricket of runs on board?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, Joshua James has to temper what he's going to do here, because it could mean the difference between 150 and 180, and he's gone. So now with just 3 wickets in the bank, Scarborough Mason Hall are now looking to fight to bat the 20 overs.
So Christian Adams, the skipper of Scarborough Mason Hall, is now at the wicket there. He's out there with Akko George, and he has a very confident Joe Field with his tail up, just dismissing Joshua James, caught brilliantly out there on the boundary by Anthony Providence. Let us see how he will handle his first delivery.
I mean, the catching from CNB United has been immaculate today, and there were a few chances.
And there's a loud appeal.
And they were taken. I mean, the one back to Marcus Daniel was a bullet, so I'm not saying that he could have caught it, but I mean, he probably should have. But besides that, CMB have been really, really good in the field.
Yes, most definitely. They have been good in the field. Anthony Providence started it off with them bowling a brilliant spell, then come back to take some good catch in the field there. It's really an all-round team effort, but Akko George can still do some damage in the latter stages here. Are we going to witness CNB reply, or is there going to be some special provision made, or am I not aware of lights? I'm looking at the time here, but so it is very important to keep our viewers up to date as Joe Field passes the umpire to bowl to Akko George, and George is hitting that one out to the cover region, and looks like Pierre is in pursuit of it. They come back to complete 2 easy run there, Mr. Prasad.
Yeah, this weather has taken a toll on the outfield now. George got that through the infield. The sweeper was a bit more straight. The thought that would have gone into the boundary, but the outfield would have held up the pace of the delivery, and Pierre was able to get to the delivery, get to the ball and return it to the keeper. So another 2 runs to Scarborough Mason Hall. It's gonna be a lot on the shoulders of Akko George now. Christian Adams, being the veteran that he is, hopefully can get off.
Was surprised that he batted so low. I mean, T20 cricket, as we know, when you look at international stars like people like Mahela Jayawardena, Kane Williamson, Stephen Smith, and these guys are not the trash bang wallop players, but they have found a way to be very effective in this version. So I think the game has evolved past where you have to be a brute force hitter to make it and survive in this limited version. Do you echo my sentiments, Mr. Prasad?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of the world-class batsmen be effective at T20, as you said. Kane Williamson, Babar Azam, Joe Root, Virat Kohli is not the most extravagant, but they have been effective in this format, as this one has slipped down the leg side, missed by wicketkeeper Elton Cruikshank, and chased down by Addison Daniel as they cross for another 3 runs, so that'll be 4 to the total.
Yes, indeed. Let us look at players on our local circuit. You yourself are not the aggressive trash bang wallop player, as they will say in the old terms, but you yourself would have played some very valuable T20 knocks over the years, so I was a bit surprised when I saw that Adams would not have come higher, but nevertheless, they are dealing in singles, which is not probably what they will want.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Adams, we know him to be the player to maneuver the innings. I've played under his captaincy for Tobago West, and I've seen him at top gear, and I've seen him at the gear where he has had to propel the innings and ensure that his team got through the total overs. So I'm hoping to see one shot in particular from Christian Adams. Is a slug sweep that he had hit out of the Dwight York Stadium when we would have had the Red Bull T20 tournament.
122 for 7 after 16. Akko George and Christian Adam at the wicket. He will probably want to replicate that, but with ball in hands, bowling over number 17 here, Addison Daniel will probably have other decisions and other intentions.
And the power play signaled at the beginning of the 17th over is for CNB to have a maximum
high in the air, and it's gone the distance.
Yeah.
For a short while, Joel Kirk probably thought that he was in with a chance there.
Yeah, I mean, Cork on the field for Marcus Daniel, that was over his head. And gone for 6, badly lined by the leg spinner, but as I said, the outfield is pretty wet. The ball is getting soaked every time it is hit out into the outfield, so it's going to be a hard day for the craft of leg spin. But I mean, as I was now saying, the fielding restrictions now have been lifted to a maximum of 5 fielders allowed out of the inner ring. So until it has a bit more protection now, Addison Daniel needs to line up his deliveries.
Yes, as he's at the top of his mark, George has a look at the field. Apparently George is waiting to see what the field adjustment's going to produce as Daniel is past the umpire bowls to George. Another full one, and George is hitting that one down to the fielder there. Very good stop there. That looks as though it's Antonio Providence. Yes, looks as Antonio Providence there. Didn't get to pitch that one. Yes, it's a very difficult craft, as we all know, but the conditions, as you rightfully alluded to, probably would have contributed to the difficulty in gripping the ball to be able to release properly.
Yeah, and now we're seeing the setting sun in the west directly in our faces now, so it's going to be hard to see a lot of the action, but George drives this one out to deep mid wicket again, and picked up by Joel Boyce and returned just for another single. So the boundaries are now seeming to elude Scarborough Mason with the odd sprinkle now and again, as Akko George would have hit a 6 at the beginning of this over.
Yes, and as you see, Captain Ned trying his very best to return the ball to a texture that his leg spinner can grip. He's now bowling to Christian Adams as Joe Field comes back right on the edge of the boundary, being over number 17. And Adams is playing that one there, and a quick attempt at a single. Look as though they successfully completed. So we are in over number... is it over number 17?
Yes, I think this is over number 17. There's still overs to be bowled by...
132 for the loss of 7, as Daniel is past the umpire bowling to George. And George is swinging at that one. Let us see the outcome. And apparently Pierre did not consider the possibility of attacking that one. He just did the safe thing and wait for it to come to him. The score is now 133 for 7 in over number 17.
Yeah, and Christian Adams now doing his role of turning over the strike back to Akko George. Akko George seems to be the one that's going to do the heavy lifting to close the innings now. I don't know who is in the playing 11 for Scarborough Mason, but this might be the pair that they're relying on now to get as many as they could to finish the innings.
So apparently there's some instructions by the Scarborough Mason dugout here for them to get as much as they can. So at the end of 17 overs, there are 134 for the loss of 7 wickets. Looks as over number 18 will be bowled by Joe Field, who was very successful in the last over. He will be bowling to Christian Adams. They'll be looking to get as much as they can to be able to set a total in which they believe that they can effectively defend.
Yeah, and I would have just taken a walk to find out from head umpire Kenny Alfred what might be the situation with the game. And if Scarborough Mason are going to bat 20 overs, this game is still a 20 over affair. So I think we're going to go into artificial lights based on the time that we have discussed earlier when play resumed.
Okay then, some clarity there for you all. So whatsoever the Mason Hall men set the C&B men may be aided or not aided by some artificial lighting to go in pursuit of it to see if they will be the champion this evening. I cannot comment on the quality of lights here, so we just have to wait and see as George swings at that one. He did not make the contact that he wanted, and he and all look as though he would have lost his footing. You know, a lot of slipping and sliding out there. Look as though they are trying to slide their way to a defendable total here. 135 for 7, win over number 18. With not much overs left, Mr. Prasad, you believe like what should be the 20, 30 more, 40 more maximum?
Yeah, I mean, this is the 18th over. We're hoping that we'll see some highlights, but it's seeming very hard to get the ball away. As I said, the wicket would have taken a lot of moisture during the course of the day. It's a bit too pace. Ezekiel Jofield executing really well here for Ansel Ned. I mean, this is a youngster that is probably underrated in Tobago, but I can tell you that he has put in a lot of work with the likes of Jaron Alfred and the coaches of the Tobago senior and age group teams.
Yes, indeed. And he's bowling a very good 18th over here. The Scarborough Mason batsmen are struggling to get him off the square. So he's showing his development is coming good. See, he and all is trying to make sure the ball is dry, or as dry as much as he can. So he's back at the top of his mark. As he passes umpire Ross to bowl to Akko George. And George advances down the wicket and he's playing that one. Let us see, good stop there. But it wasn't that. They're coming back for a second. So, in an attempt to add more valuable runs, they nearly take a risk, but it looks as though it will be a risk and reward. They eventually completed the run.
Yeah, Addison Daniel doing well to stop that from passing him, but couldn't prevent a second run. Speaking about the artificial lights here, Breaker, I've never actually participated in a night game at Mariah, but these lights are pretty much really able to have the game completed in the artificial lights as far as the officials are concerned.
Well, they have made their decision, so I guess they have made it on the back of knowing what the situation is. So we'll have to trust our officials. At the end of the 18th over, the score is now 140 for 7. 2 overs left, Mr. Prasad. We may be in for some excitement.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be from the point of Scarborough Mason. They're going to have to be looking to get approximately another 20 runs. That'll be 10 runs per over to close the innings. If not more, CNB would be looking to restrict them to as low as maybe 5 runs per over. And seeing how that's Ansel Ned is entrusting in the 19th over still to Addison Daniel. So apparently there are not too many bowlers with overs again. No, I'm seeing Daniel is being replaced by Ansel Ned himself. So the skipper is going to take charge and embrace the 19th over and probably close with Ezekiel Jofield, with the fact that Marcus Daniel is off the field and maybe would have had another over or 2 remaining.
Hasn't the captain bowled out? Nevertheless, he's on the ball.
Yeah,
he has the responsibility
I think it was
of over
only
number 19.
the Providence boys that would have bowled out so far. And Ned is holding his shoulder. I think that was an attempt at Dushra. Ansel Ned has the variations. I can tell you from facing him numerous times. He has all the variations, the regulation of spin, the top spinner, the Dushra, the arm ball. He has the repertoire.
He has a very wily and experienced campaigner in Ansel Ned. He'll be calling on all his experience here. He'll be calling on all his experience to execute a very cheap or less cost of a 19th over than he would have done in his earlier spells. We don't have time. We don't have time to play with it, so I believe all involved should be able to get what they have to do out quickly.
Akko George going to Old Reliable, what we know as the CA Sumo. You're seeing Malik Roberts coming off the field with 2 brand new bats, and Akko George relating to Old Reliable, as I have said.
And it looks as though the change of bat would have produced results immediately. That's a rather fortuitous run there.
Yeah, I think during your playing time, Breaker, this would have been the bat that everyone would have had. The CA Sumo probably weighs about 5 pounds, but immediate contact produces a boundary for Akko George.
Yes, you are quite correct. A lot of us would have been grew up on that, using that. You know, I personally was a fan of the Grey Nickels. You know, but Akko George is looking as though he's trying to eye up the corner where the spectators are relaxing down the wall there, and that he got a delivery for him to really do that. He would not have made contact, but it looks as though it has been signaled a no ball.
No, it's a wide. It's a wide. Missed out on a full toss there was Akko George. I think Ansel Ned is now trying to drag him as wide as possible on the off stick.
And he's swinging that one straight to Daniel there.
Not a good piece of feeling by Addison Daniel. Luck could have easily beaten him and went out into the outfield for another 2 runs.
So good ball from Ansel Ned there, keeping things really quiet so far. 146 for 7. We are in the 19th over. If you are just joining in, remember CMB won the toss earlier on and inserted Scarborough Mason to take first strike. Coverage brought to you here live on Tobago Sports Live from the Moriah Recreational Facilities. And there's an appeal, and he's given him. So apparently Christian Adams would have fallen trying to add valuable runs to the total. Ansel Ned would have found the edge of his bat. Good take from the veteran Elton Cruikshank.
Yeah, that was a short and wide delivery. Adams looking to cut. Probably got under the line of the delivery and got a nick. Good take by Elton Cruikshank.
Court wicket keeper, Bull Ansel Ned.
Coming to the wicket breaker is a young man that has had so much potential and was out of cricket for a while. Wicket-keeper batsman O'Marley James.
If this are other one of the James.
Yeah, this is another brother. This youngster is probably, in my opinion, the best wicket-keeper in Tobago. And he is a batsman that has no fear. He's going to be looking to hit the ball onto the road breaker. He's not going to be looking to hit it just over the cones that are placed for the boundary.
Oh my goodness, so we may be in for some excitement if Ansel Ned misses his length. A rather cool evening here. And he's swinging at that one. I think I see an idea of the intentions. And they're looking to come back for 2 there. Rather easily, because we all know Akko George's fitness level is on the higher side of things.
Yeah, being a serviceman, I would hope that he is, and being that the Bago Blast T10, all the teams were basically training together. Akko is one that asked for 110% from his team.
He's swinging at that one. And are they going to try to come? No, they will decide against it.
And not yet another boundary in this over, and Ansel Ned just relieving the team now.
Looks as a very good over from Ansel Ned there. Joe Field, why don't you think it's wise those batsmen get their helmet, Joe Field?
Now, I think at this stage of the innings, Joe Field is trying his utmost to deliver those Yorkers to the end of the innings. 149 for 8 after 19 overs. Scarborough Mason needs to get at least another 11 runs. Anything over will be a plus for them as well.
So Joe Field has the most difficult over. The final over of the allotted 20. Bowling to O'Marley James. Let us see how he will fare. And O'Marley is swinging at that one. Easy pick up by And right there.
And I'm wondering if Ansel Ned knows that he's allowed 5 outside the inner ring, because currently he only is employing 4 fielders out of the inner ring.
Probably the rush of things, it probably slipped him. You know, with all the adrenaline pumping, the excitement and importance of the final over, as Joe flees into George. Oh my goodness, another hit straight back. 2 in 1 day, but it looks as though if this one would have produced a different result in terms of the effectiveness of the material in terms of the ball to young Joe Field.
He got out of the way, he got a hand to the delivery, but I mean, those catches are the hardest. I mean, he's in his follow through, trying to effect his craft, and the ball is back at him.
A play and a miss there. Let us see.
Yeah, a bit of a fumble by Elton Cruikshank there, and George crosses over for another single.
Yeah, I think of all the people that they will want to face these last few deliveries, no disrespect to young James, I think they will prefer Akko George to be on strike here.
Yeah, Scarborough Mason will be hoping in his next 2 to 3 deliveries that Akko George can execute at least 2 or all maximums.
It looks as though the villagers and members of the community on the outskirts is really enjoying having live cricket action in their community of Mariah here. As that one squirms around the corner, oh, and it beats Providence into the boundary. So that's 4 runs to the total there. 4 valuable runs to the total there.
Yeah, I was just speaking about that, and that is exactly where I would have thought Ansel Ned would have employed his 5th fielder outside of the circle, a deep square leg.
Instant replay brought to you by Tobago Sports Live. Really good production here from the technical crew.
Yeah, and he's now getting it right, is Ansel Ned. He's putting, leaving Anthony Providence at deep square leg and replacing the deep mid wicket.
Will that mistake be a little too late? That 4 runs can come down to be the deciding factor in who lifts the trophy here this evening. And he swings at that one. They are going. Daniel is in pursuit. Daniel is in pursuit of it. And they are coming for a 3rd.
Yeah, by signal by umpire Ross, Elton Cruikshank leaking at a very important stage of the game.
Exactly, he would not have been able to effectively collect that delivery there, which could have saved his team a couple runs, 3 in fact, 159 for 8. We are in the final couple of deliveries here in the final over.
Yeah, if we're counting breaker, that's 6 runs that TNB could have avoided. And Akko trying to execute an extra run in this over is run out on the last delivery.
Yes, I think it looks as though the batsmen and even the fielder run out of gas there. So ladies and gentlemen, at the Tobago Cricket Association 40 over final, a rain interrupted day, we can safely say that we witnessed the first innings of this championship match. Scarborough Mason setting 160 in 20 overs. It means that the men from Canaan Bonaccord will need to get at 161 to be the champions here. Let us see how it will go. What do you think about that total, Mr. Prasad?
Yeah, they would have gotten exactly what I would have predicted in the latter half of the innings. They would have liked to have gotten a bit more, but scoring 10 runs per over for the last few overs was a plus. So I think they'll be happy from where they ended up losing Dejan Charles and Joshua James at a key stage. We'll see you back shortly for the reply from Canaan Bonaccord United. Welcome back. Welcome back. CNB about to go after this 160 for 9 that posted by Scarborough Mason Hall. We're going to see Dejan Charles open the bowling for Scarborough Mason Hall, and he's going to be bowling to Anthony Providence and Ashon Pera, the non-strikers in.
Yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to witness the pursuit of 161 from the men from Canaan Bonaccord. For as much as we are allowed to, Scarborough Mason Hall will put that responsibility to start the Dejan Charles. And Anthony Providence looks as though he's shell-shocked. But from here, Mr. Passad, he looks as though he was trapped in front.
Yeah, I mean, that's the back leg. More than likely, that's going to be lined up immediately in front of the stumps. Providence looking to play across the line and getting hit on the back leg, on the right leg. We're going to see a bit of a replay here. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty adjacent.
Come on, man, Mr. Providence. You should have been out of there from time after you played the shot. Thanks to Tobago Sports Live, we were able to see the replay. So, no runs on the board, and the men from Canaan Bonaccord in pursuit of 161, they have just lost their first wicket.
Yeah, and one Providence replaces another. We're going to see Antonio Providence replacing his brother Anthony Providence. Dejan Charles has eclipsed himself and become a very useful medium pacer.
Yes, I'm quite surprised there because from what I know of Charles from the earlier days, I know him as a wicketkeeper batsman. To see him bowling now, it means as though he will have added another skill to his arsenal. And Antonio Providence is there now taking his guard, a rather disappointed looking Anthony Providence. You know, so I wonder what is the state? What does the rule say with Marcus Daniel batting?
He went off the field injured, so he can bat anywhere. I think the rule is more for guys taking bathroom breaks and these kind of breaks that are not necessary.
So Antonio Providence sets himself. He waits on Dejan Charles. None for one in over number 1. And Antonio
to mid off by Antonio Providence, no run. This is gonna be a level-headed approach now from Antonio Providence. CNB would hope.
Well, hope is one thing. Execution of the hope is another thing. So we will see as Charles is on his way to him. And a swing and a miss at that one.
Providence will be disappointed, a bit short and wide outside the line and off stump, and that could have easily been crashed away through the offside for 4.
So Charles waits on the ball to return to him. As he heads back to the top of his mark, he looks as though he's in the mood. He's up for the defense of this total. Antonio waits on him.
No run!
And it looks as though there is no run there. Good feeling in the middle there. What kind of form Antonio is in? Because we all know when he's going, he can be one of the best things to watch in terms of attractive shot and shot making. Can you shed some clarity on if he's in any kind of batting form?
I really can't, Breaker, because the one time that I would have come up against CMB this year, Antonio Providence was not available for play on that day.
Okay then, so he's applying a very watchful manner. He's down there doing some gardening, as we call it in old cricketing terms. He sets back to the top of his mark, so he'll probably have to find form right here. What a place to do it, and the reward if he helps his team here is the 40 over championship title, as Charles is on his way.
Yeah, another delivery to Providence, looking to turn it into the leg side, but that seems to be outside the line of leg stump, and Charles himself didn't even had any appeal to the umpire Ronnie McKenna.
So there's a lot of support coming from the Mason Hall camp here. Some of them are trying to assist the umpire in his decision making. So as it is going here, looks as though over number 2 looks as though it will be bowled by Joshua James. This should be exciting because what I know of Ashon Pierre, he doesn't like to spend a lot of time there at all. He does everything that he has to do with a cricket bat in a very rapid manner.
Yeah, Ashon is the squashbuckling type of batsman that we have come to know of West Indian players. Joshua is not medium pace by any means. He can get up into the high 80s.
Exactly, we would have seen that. And see, I'm glad that you mentioned West Indian players. What's your opinion on the recently concluded Regional 4-Day Championship?
Opportunity for a run out and overthrows as I pick up this one myself.
Exactly.
And return it to the field.
So apparently Scarborough is not feeling a little bit generous there. They would have donated some runs. Yes, Mr. Posad, the recently concluded Regional 4-Day Championship, we would have seen that Bat would have dominated a lot of runs, even from some of your own countrymen, Tajnara and Chanapol, to be specific.
I mean, you are a fan of his father, and I know you are liking what you're seeing because he is almost an exact replica, not in batting stance or anything, but approach to cricket. And I'm pulling up some stats here right now, and the only person that would have scored more runs than him this season is West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite, who would have scored 584 runs at an average of 83.
And that's a good delivery there. A swing and a miss. Yes, I would like to say I'm more than a fan. I've been a very student follower of his father over his playing career, and to see the son come in and perform like that. You just showed me a graph where Craig Brathwaite on top and Tajnarain Chandapal below. Mr. Posad, Bangladesh is here for next week. Do you think that there's any possibility that what you just showed me, 4 runs off the bat?
Yeah, you were just alluding to how dangerous Antonio Providence can be. And if he gets into his own, this is a young man that dominated the TV6 T10 that the CNB United team would have, the CNB enforcers at that tournament would have played as.
Exactly, no shortage in ability. It makes you wonder why the circuit over here is their main display. The talent and ability these guys would have shown, you would have told yourself that you should have been watching them on some other circuit. Yeah, so that's a play and a miss there, rather tentatively. So Mr. Posad, back to our discussion. You're showing me a graph here with Craig Brathwaite, 584 runs at 83, then Tajnarain Chandapal, 439 at 73. What is the possibility of we seeing that same 2 names come next week at the Sir Vivian Richard Stadium when the first test bowls off?
Yeah, another good.
Are you a guessing man?
By Joshua James.
Are you a guessing man to?
You are an emotional fella, Mr. Benjamin. If you look down the line a bit further, there's Devon Thomas, who has been in the test team, Karen Powell and John Campbell chasing those 2 top batsmen as well. I mean, we would have liked to see Tajnarain Chandapal move on to West Indies cricket a while now, but I think he has made a name for himself now. So it's up to Desmond Haynes and the rest of the West Indies selectors to decide who is going to partner Craig Brathwaite at the top of the order.
5 runs for 1 wicket at the end of over number 2. Just completed there by Joshua James. Mr. Posad, let me engage you, because isn't this the tournament? Isn't the West Indies regional tournament? Isn't the West Indies regional tournament the competition that you have to perform in to be given an opportunity at the test level? And if that is the case, if the West Indies Cricket Board is honest in what they present as the criteria, I believe that Tajnarain Chandapal should be making his test match debut next week, because the other names that you call have been tried repeatedly with no returns to encourage a continuation.
Yeah, well, we wait to see. As I said, I would be very proud. We would have seen Tajnarain Chandapal in Tobago for the regional under 17 tournament, the few years that we would have had it hosted, we would have seen him in the first year. And I think a lot of the Guyanese batsmen that I've seen come through that rank, because I've been here for so long now that the only opportunity I get to see a lot of these youngsters is in the age group level. Shimron Hetmeyer, Sherfin Redford, all of these guys would have scored hundreds in Tobago during that time.
It looks as though Dejan Charles is ready, and whoa, very good delivery there. I just saw Antonio Providence change in his back. Is it that he have more confidence in that willow that he sent for, or sometimes batsmen change when they are ready to go on the aggression?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the young players in Tobago are not with their own equipment, and not even some of them might have their own equipment but feel more comfortable with a particular type of willow.
Well bowled and well played there. Mr. Prasad, back to our discussion. You mentioned you would have come through the rank, and you'd have come through the rank of playing youth cricket and all these different types. But as you rightfully said, it's up to Desmond Haynes and company. But just recently, we would have seen your fellow countryman Sawan saying that he had enough with such job. Do you believe it have anything to do with some of the questionable selection? My goodness gracious me.
Wow, Ashon
Pierre.
I can see.
That one skyrocketed over the banks. That is what you call stand and deliver.
And he would have set quiet to the Scarborough Miss and all fans that you would have been hearing in the background. And now you're hearing the CNB fans who are a bit further than us celebrate a six that has hit the top of the bank and gone into the sitting area that fans usually sit to watch football.
They always say in cricket, one of the best ways to quiet fans is to attack their bowlers. I'm not hearing a soul in the Scarborough Mason all dugout now. Is it that shot from Ashon Pierre turned them into silent lambs?
Yeah, and we can hear an eruption again if Dejan Charles is to pick up this wicket. Going back to the test team, Mr. Benjamin, I'm going to show you a graph now with a name at the top of the wicket list that people have been questioning over his selection, and that's Rakeem Cornwall.
Well, has Charles come back with a better delivery there? Well, again, I believe in going what the people in charge say. They say that to make the team, you have to perform at the regional tournament. Now, men coming out of previous international tours, if they didn't do bad, they would probably like the chances to repeat. But based on that, I believe that he should be bowling the spin for the West Indies come next week.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Imran Khan and Versami Pramod dominate the regional level, but to see Rakeem Cornwall at the top of the wickets. I mean, this year was only a one-run 5 games. We're seeing Kimo Paul at number 2 with 20 wickets, and they said Versami Pramod with 19 wickets at number 3.
Very good delivery there. There's a loud appeal. Apparently, Mr. Prasad, the noise has returned in the Scarborough Masonal camp.
Yeah, one that beat the bat. No appeal from the players on the field, but a big appeal from the fans.
But that graph you're showing me there, Mr. Prasad, with the leading wicket takers, how realistic are we to expect someone other than Versami playing next week? Remember, he would have missed the final test due to some reason. You know, are we expect to see him slotted back in? And that one peels off the edge there.
Away by Ashon Pierre for another boundary.
So Ashon Pierre looks as though he understands the mammoth of the task in front of him, and he's looking as though he wants to get on in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm now trying to find a scorecard from the semi-final where Ashon was destructive against the Scarborough Mason all attack.
Let me ask you to support my memory a little bit. Isn't Scarborough Mason one of the teams that he would have played for in the early part of his career?
I should believe that you're correct, because his cousin or uncle, Anroy Devines, who is also a part of the CNB United team now, was a part of the Scarborough Mason team in the earlys with the likes of Gilbert Lezama.
So 3 overs gone. Over number 4, ball in hand, is with Joshua James. Oh my goodness gracious me! Antonio Providence has just gave that ball A bit more respiration. High and handsome. You could not have asked for a better reply. We question this man's form. We know the ability. We know what he's capable of. And Mr. Posada safely say that we are seeing examples of it here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a youngster that had the potential to do a whole lot better, but as we know in life in general, when it catches up with you and you have to find ways of earning an income, you tend to forget about the sports and the other things that you love in life.
And that is one of the reasons why, Mr. Posada, I will always, as we watch James, and he plays that one there, you just hit the man into the forested area with some water, and knowing that you just hit the man for 6, sensibly played. So it shows that he's thinking.
Yeah,
as I was saying, Mr. Posada, this is one of the reasons why I will always have the tag or the cap of a controversial commenter, because answer my question, is it now Antonio would have shown that he has ability?
I think
has that not been shown a while now, where something could have been done by the powers that be or the authorities to probably maximize on that now, pull him out of that situation where you have to go out there and exhibit his energy and whatnot to try and earn an income and say, well, this is a guy that can probably do something in this sport? I hope I'm not talking alien language to you.
I support you 100% there, Rico, because before Joshua James got back from the West Indies under 19, I would have addressed some.
My word! And we are witnessing a magnificent
feeling by Keelan Lynch. This is a youngster that was also addressing the regional selectors at one point.
Yes, Keelan Lynch, as you may very well know, for a lot of years, a lot of the hope of a major achievement on the island was hanging on his shoulders, and he just would have fallen through what you call the social crack, if to put it in a more pleasant term for our viewers. And it really burns me, Mr. Posada, to see such talent waste as James is into Providence. Wide delivery.
Appeal by the keeper and bowler, but wide signal by umpire Ross.
Do you think that appeal is actually trying to throw umpire Ross off course with his decision making?
Yeah, I think O'Marley James is one of the more smart players, and he's playing a bit of a play there with the umpire. As we were talking about Antonio Providence and Keelan Lynch, I mean, we could have done a lot better with these youngsters. We could have given them the opportunity, as Providence crashes that one past his partner, Shaquille Duncan, into the cover boundary for 4. This is Antonio Providence at his best. At his best.
This is the Antonio Providence that we know. He's putting on a clinic here at Moriah Recreational Facility. Let us not develop the habit of not finishing topics that we start. Mr. Posada, the Bangladesh is probably on the way here. Who do you see spinning the cricket ball for the West Indies come next week? Do you see the captain himself holding on to it? I don't think Ruston Chase would have done anything to include himself in the argument. So probably we will see a continuation as that one peels off the edge of Antonio Bat and gone for another 4. Mr. Posada is dealing in boundaries here.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
to the question,
yeah,
who do you see?
I'm thinking Rakim Cornwall and Versamy Pramal will make the final squad. The series is at home, so it's gonna be pitches that will offer something to both spinners and seamers. So one of the two will make the final 11, I should think.
All right, there you getting your opinion from Mr. Posada. Very knowledgeable in the game, as we witness the clinic put on here by Antonio. Remember, Antonio understands that for CNB to be the champion here this afternoon, they require 161, and apparently he has somewhere else to go later. He probably has some nocturnal obligations. He's in a hurry, Mr. Posada.
Yeah, he is a man of the night, as we know. These guys enjoy their little bit of fetting, and it will be a lot more sweet if they come out victorious today. I know you are going to be a lot more emotional if CNB does come out victorious, because that is the team that I would have played against you in your playing this.
Yes, that Kenan Bonaccord is home. I will always be grateful to Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel, I remember when I was dressed just came back from Trinidad with the under-13 team, and Coach John Pollard was advising us to go about the community and assign ourselves to some of the clubs. Being from Canaan, Bonaccord, I used to attend all the training, and Mr. Daniel gave me an opportunity at a tender age of 16. So I was really, really grateful for it. So this is home. This is where it all started. You know, so obviously not trying to be biased, I will like to see them victorious here today. As Charles passes umpire Fox on his way to appear, and he gets a York delivery, and they're coming through to complete a quick single there.
Pierre loses his bat, but Dejan Charles refuses to throw, probably citing that there was no backup. So rather than leak an extra run, he just allowed the single.
Yes, you're quite correct. A really busy time in cricket in the region coming up in the next couple of weeks. We have the South Africans, we have the Indians coming here, then we have the Kiwis. A lot of cricket here, a couple games right in our sister isle in Trinidad there, you know. So as a cricket fan, there's a lot of activity out there to look forward to.
Yeah, and as you say, a couple of games in Trinidad. I'm still hopeful. I mean, people might think that it's still not possible, but I am very hopeful that someday we're going to have a facility in Tobago that we can host these international games, and Tobagonians can get even the young players can get the gist of what international cricket has to offer.
Exactly, Mr. Posadas. Providence hit that one out to the cover region. They picked up easily by Lynn. That's not a far-fetched concept. It is quite possible. There is the resources. Is there the willingness by the powers that be?
We would hope that the new administration has sport at heart as well. I've seen a lot of sporting activities take place since the new administration has been in place.
Quite correct. As he tried to whip that one off, they're coming through for a quick single there. And there's overthrows. But a clean pickup and a rattled Scarborough Mason all men 42 for 1 over number 5 has gone. It looks as though it's in progress. Over number 5 in progress. 42 for 1. Remember, they are in pursuit of 161 to be victorious. And someone needs to calm down the Mason all men. They are a bit rattled right now here.
Yeah, and Marcus Daniel now complaining that the artificial lights have not been switched on yet, and it's getting the sun has now gone beyond the mountain, so it's gonna start getting dark really fast.
My word! That went down there at a rate of not. I believe Ashon Pierre is quite aware that the light will leave us shortly, the natural light, and probably trying to see how far ahead can he get.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, I was looking for a scorecard, and in the semi-final against Airport Authority, Ashon Pierre would have amassed a massive 84 runs in that semi-final, almost securing victory for the CNB United and bringing them to this final.
Totally correct there. Thanks for that information. As the dangerous Antonio Providence sets himself, Charles is back at the top of his mark here as he passes umpire Fox. And he gets a good delivery that he has to show the necessary respect there. So at the end of the 5th over, CNB in pursuit of 161 for victory. They are 43 for 1.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about Antonio Providence, Mr. Benjamin. I would have been playing for the Tobago senior team at the zonal 40 overs competition probably back in 2011, 2012. And Antonio Providence was just a young lad in school, probably just would have finished exams and leaving secondary school. And he would have played his first game at senior level for Tobago at that point. And he was scared out of his wits coming to the wicket to bat. But, I mean, from that youngster that I first met playing for the Tobago senior team.
Not to toot my own horn, but I want to think that in terms of people with knowledge of the Providence brothers, very few will have as much as I coming up from them. Because we all started at Canaan with Ken Williams, a guy that you are no stranger to. And we always used to be heckling Antonio. Even him and his bigger brother and I used to combine. And why you can't get the ball off the square, boy? He was known as the man that played all the prettiest strokes and can't get the ball off the square. How that would have changed. How that would have changed so drastically.
And bowling change. Christian Turton, one of the Scarborough Mason All imports from Trinidad. Turton would have played on the 19 for Trinidad with this young man, and that's cut away past the backward point fielder who misfield that by Ashan Pierre and into the boundary for 4.
Welcome to Tobago, Mr. Curtin. From Ashan Pierre, that's 4 beautiful runs off Pierre bat. And just to highlight a little on the quality of the production here, if in case you missed it, we are the recipient of instant replay.
Yeah, you can enjoy the action twice.
My goodness! Oh my goodness!
What an effort, Joshua James!
My goodness gracious
What
me!
an effort!
For a short while,
He had it. He had it.
He had it.
He had it. We're gonna see this on replay. We're definitely gonna see this on our replay. Joshua James had that in his grasp and only let go upon impact with the ground. Covered the distance, got it in his hand, and only released it when hitting the ground.
That probably would have been easy.
Yeah,
Easy the catch of the tournament.
yeah, and that was Ashan Pierre who has been hitting the ball really
Instant
well.
replay brought to you by Tobago Sports Live there. And Providence showing a little respect there.
And that's the maturity that I've been speaking about to this youngster. He's been hitting the ball well, but if it's not there, he's not gonna build up balls. He's gonna just turn over the strike back to Ashan Pierre, who is in a mood to hit the ball over the boundary.
So Taunton is back at the top of his mark, trying to get the ball dry. It looks as though Pierre pads would have come unhinged there. Or is it his lace? He's been given some housing assistance from the Mason Hall captain there to get his equipment and everything back together. We really in a good entertaining mood here this evening. Taunton passes umpire Ross to bowl to Pierre. And Pierre is cracking that one again. Let us see how it will go this time.
Yeah,
Easy pickup, a more clean pickup this time.
Yeah, that's Nicholas Sugdio saying out to the sweeper boundary. Another youngster who would have been kicking on the door of the Red Force team and in my opinion was not given his fair opportunity.
It looks as though it would have affected him mentally because he looked pretty ordinary out there today. For a man who would have been approaching national senior team selectors.
This is a youngster that would have been scoring hundreds at will for the Power Gen Sports Club.
Good delivery there. Taunton kind of hold the space back here. Providence had to reach for that one.
Yeah, I think Antonio Providence would have wound up to hit that very far and then realized that the pace was not on, so he just knocked it out to Joshua James at long on for another single. Still in the 6th over.
Taunton passes umpire Ross to bowl to Pierre. And Pierre is getting a good tight delivery on him there. Didn't have much room to play, but he still was able to get a single. Valuable run to the total. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Moriah Recreational Facilities here. If you are not able to come down here, join us on Tobago Sports Live to witness the final. To witness the final of the Tobago Cricket Association 40 over cricket competition. 52 for 1. 6 has gone.
You need to drink water and check the rock.
Looks as though the artificial lights is probably about to grace us here, Mr. Posada.
Yeah, it was switched on. It probably should have been switched on a while ago, so that it could take effect as the natural light faded.
As Duncan is into the attack.
And slips that down the leg side immediately. I think that's going to be signaled wide by umpire Ronnie McKenna and 2 more runs.
From the southern end,
They come through to complete a rather rapid single there.
And Providence would have escorted Shaquille Duncan off the field. Shaquille Duncan is going to want to
return the favor. He's probably going to want to reciprocate such gestures. Let us see how that will go. Providence takes his guard. And I know this banter will go on into the wee hours of Sunday night, probably into Monday and even longer, if he's able to dismiss his very good colleague here.
Yeah, these two guys are on the same sales truck in their regular day-to-day employ.
A play and a miss. Apparently Providence was waiting to see if it would have eluded the fielder.
I think the call of weight came from Ashan Perry. He wasn't too certain if it had got past Keston Rodney. But he eventually crossed over with Providence with a single. As the lights now take effect, and I can tell you, Rick, I'm looking at some of these towers and there are several lights on these towers not working, so CNB will be looking to get this as quick as possible whilst there's still a bit of natural light, or get as close as possible whilst there's still a bit of natural light.
We live in an island where it wouldn't, he's trying to play that one off his legs there. We live in an island where inquiry as to the non-functioning one will be a discussion for our next day. So I wouldn't even engage us to go there. But what I will say is that Duncan is looking to try and get his team back into this year, or have they, and he swings at that one. Had he connected that, I believe our cameraman might have been in some trouble there.
Yeah,
I wonder if Tobago Sports Live has any coverage for personal damage while at production.
I will probably have to go to the Tobago Cricket Association.
And he loses bat. Mr. Posad, how do you describe that comedy of errors?
Yeah, Ashan Perry has been actively involved in this inning so far, so his batting gloves probably are wet beyond him gripping the bat properly, and I think he wanted to hit that back to Scarborough.
I'm witnessing some really cool technical stuff here on our coverage here. This is really quality production. I hope that the quality of this production is reminded constantly amongst our officials. As he hits that one, picked up easily by Captain Adams there. And it looks as though we are in for a tight finish here.
I think Ashan Perry now is trying to hit the ball a bit too hard. I mean, it's his natural game, but just delaying and calming himself may have him hitting the boundaries that he needs to hit again. Shakil Duncan closes the over with another dot ball.
At the end of over number 7, am I correct?
Yeah.
At the end of the 7th over, CNB in pursuit of 161 for victory. They are 55 for 1. Mr. Posad, will you say this is a par position?
I think 7 overs going, scoring at roughly 8 runs per over. That's what they required at the start of the innings. So they are amongst the required rate, but I think what's more important, it's only 1 wicket down. So if there comes a time when they need to increase the tempo, they can.
An increase they will need, but Taunton will be having other ideas here. And a good delivery from Taunton.
This shows the experience of Christian Thornton. Not a very old guy by any means, but into his early 20s and not looking to pitch the ball up because the wicket is offering a bit of assistance to the fielding team.
Good feeling off his own bowling here. Really good bowling from the youngster here.
Yeah, he's not getting close to Ashan Perry for him to hit him down the ground.
I don't think anybody would want to go to Pierre's arc right now. We may have some location problem if they do so.
Yeah, that's 3 dot balls in a row now by Ashan Perry. Senior player Marcus Daniel encouraging him not to get frustrated by the dot balls because they all know that what he can do to make up for those dot balls.
And that's good advice from Mr. Daniel there. Don't get too cried because there's still time. And as we all know in this game of T20 cricket, you can see some batting teams starting slow in the early. And Mr. Posad, by the time the proceedings end, you want to know if this was the same batting team. So this game has lots of unpredictable display, and he's playing that one off his leg there. Will they come back for a second? No.
Christian Adams retrieves and just another single. This has been a good over so far. This can go one of two ways now in this final delivery. Antonio Providence can hit a boundary, or he can say, you know, a well bowled Christian Turton and just look to get back to
How many times have we seen great over spoiled by the last delivery? How many times? Countless opportunities we have witnessed that.
Yeah, and Antonio Providence will be hoping to do that.
And it's going, it's running, it's running, it's running, it's running.
They are willing it, and it's gone past the boundary.
And it's gone past.
Said, spoiled.
So just as we said, a rather good over. A good over from Taunton there, and then in the end of it, he straightened his line and length. And he paid the price.
Yeah, still not a bad over. 5 runs
61
from the over is not bad by any means, but releasing the pressure at the last delivery.
So 61 for 1 after 8 overs. CNB, if they want to taste victory, they will have to get 100. They will have to get 100 in the next 12 overs. Mathematically, it's not impossible, but I think the men from Scarborough Masonol will be harboring other ideas. I want to comment on the quality of the light, but I believe I should wait till it's probably fully charged. We still have some natural light, so let us see as Duncan bowls to Pierre, hit him straight back to Duncan. There's no run there. You can hear the supporters of the Masonol team being very vocal. Some family, friends, loved ones trying to will their Masonol men on, and Pierre is swinging at that one. He haven't gotten the contact that he probably would have want, so there's no additional run to the total there. Duncan back to the top of his mark. Pierre sets himself. And he's swinging that one. Let us see. Oh my goodness. Dejon Charles, you cannot expect Dejon Charles to make any mistake there. It looks as though Ashon Pierre would not have heed the advice of the experienced Marcus Daniel.
I mean, he would have been frustrated by not getting the boundaries for the last couple of overs, but Marcus Daniel and the rest of CNB would have been willing him to continue scoring, but he could not get the ball away.
So heading to the wicket there now. Heading to the wicket there now to join Antonio Providence's Addison. Is this one Addison, Daniel?
Yeah, the leg spinner that was on earlier today.
All wrong there. He will be looking to get some revenge where the batting part of his skill set is concerned. He's coming in with a reasonable start on the board, 61. Over number 9 in progress. Let us see how it will go.
And I can tell you, Breaker, at the end of the 2020 season, that would have been cut short by COVID-19. Addison Daniel would have scored 100 in a 40-over game that was part of that season ongoing before we were cut short.
Yes, I remember that 100 really well. So he's by no means just a man that could hold a bat, he could execute also. So Duncan just a successful delivery. Let's see what he'll do now. And Daniel is giving him a lot of respect there. He's trying
to get off the mark, I think, more than anything else.
In a suicide manner. I mean, being a guy that goes for people who are in situations of dire straits, he probably know that if he would have made that run or even attempt to complete it, we might have to ward him at that part of his workplace structured for mad decisions.
Yeah, I mean, he knows about the risk.
And they are going to come through for this one.
And the damage that could have caused. And he's eventually off the mark now. That one pitching a bit down the wicket and staying a bit low. So the wicket now is getting a bit tired maybe. Shaquille Duncan bowling at a rate of knots.
As you hear the banter continues here. Oh, high, and is it handsome? It is handsome also.
Yeah, you don't dare Antonio Providence.
And just to add, one of the Masonol fans were just alluding before the delivery that Providence cannot hit Shaquille. I want to think that he would have probably retracted such statement by now.
I think those words are now on the way past his chest into his stomach.
He would have had to consume them back. 6 valuable runs there.
Yeah, as the natural light continues to fade, and we're seeing how good the lights are now at the Mariah Recreation Ground. I mean, although several bulbs on each tower is now working, it's kind of looking like similar to what we would have experienced in the Roxborough, the Sid Gray Recreational Ground.
Exactly. And Thornton looks as though he will continue. Over number 10 currently in progress. We are waiting to complete the halfway mark. They are 68 for 2. Remember, they are in pursuit of 161 if you are just joining us. And Daniel is going at that one. That one is high. High, and oh my goodness, he has gone. So Thornton, hear the elation in a dugout that just went into Mary, the silent lamb mode. You can hear the noise here now.
Yeah, I think Addison Daniel was sent to try to get ahead of the rate, but it didn't work out the way that CNB wanted. And here comes my nightmare, the guy that kept my team out of the semi-final, Marcus Daniel.
Well, Marcus Daniel would have been saving CNB for quite a number of years, ladies and gentlemen. I have witnessed it personally over the years. He will be called upon to pursue or to bring back another one of those rescuing acts.
Yeah, we're into the 10th over. CNB requiring less than 100 runs now for victory. They're going to hope that Marcus Daniel can take them as close to home as possible, if not all the way home.
But tactically, do you think it was the right decision for Mr. Daniel to come now? Looking at the CNB dugout there, and I probably would have expected Joel Boyce to go out, or probably Anroy. But the CNB think tank probably have other ideas. But nevertheless, he's out there, and he will be charged with the responsibility of trying to bring this title home for the men from Canaan Bonaccord.
Don't want to be a naysayer, Mr. Benjamin, but senior players need to take responsibility, and this is exactly what Marcus Daniel is doing right now. I would have ruled that decision of batting myself a bit too late against the CNB team in our final preliminary game.
And they come through for a quick single there. Yes, sometimes the senior men have to take the bull by the neck and probably try to pull it home, and in this case to pull the title home to Canaan Bonaccord. I think the title would have eluded them for a while.
Yeah, I think during the last couple of years, CNB have not been in the playoff stage of the 40 over competition, so it's good to see them back at the top of the game.
But if we are, my goodness gracious me, if you want to hear what you call suicide on a cricket field, Antonio Providence just combined with Marcus Daniel to give us a living example of what is suicide. That's the 3rd wicket, the 4th wicket down. A rather disappointed Antonio Providence.
Yeah, you would have been running these singles with Ashan Pierre, but Marcus Daniel, the senior statesman, would not have gotten there either.
Exactly.
And CNB are now turning to experience, having Marcus Daniel out in the middle there, employing the batting of Elton Cruikshank, better known as Nani.
The legendary, the iconic, the man that is keep defying the laws and numerics in active sports, Elton Nani Cruikshank, has just joined Marcus Daniel. And if the village of Canaan Bonaccord ever wanted to put success on the shoulders of anybody here, it's this pair.
Yeah, this is the homegrown pair, as you would call it. Elton Cruikshank essential part of this CNB outfit for a number of years. Always has a bit to say when you're coming up against them, and he's gonna wanna quiet the fans of the Scarborough Mason team.
And he looks as though he's off the mark there right away. I hope that Antonio Providence does not get too dejected. His team still has a chance here. But he was the set batsman, so this is a major blow.
All is gonna rest on the shoulders of the senior players now. Marcus Daniel here, Elton Cruikshank, Gerald Boyce to come, as you mentioned, and Roy Devines, even Ansel Ned, who had a knock of 68 in the semi-final.
So there's still some firepower to come. There's still some more than capable batsmen to come. Live on Tobago Sports Live, we are here at Moriah Recreational Ground, witnessing the final of the Tobago Cricket Association 40 over final, brought to you here by Tobago Sports Live. So if you're not able to make it down here, wheresoever you are in the world, as that one peels off the edge of Marcus Daniel, but wheresoever you are in the world, from what I'm seeing, we're having viewers from all over, people who are out of the country, Mr. Prasad, in England, in Canada, in America. They are all tuning in to Tobago Sports Live, taking in this coverage of lovely cricket. So kudos must go to this production from Tobago Sports Live. 70 for 4 after 10 at the halfway mark, Mr. Prasad.
Yeah.
How do you think that is?
I mean, CNB now require a further 91 runs if my maths are correct. At 9 runs per over, you'd say. And a lot to rest on the spear, as I said. We all know Marcus Daniel and finals. I mean, this is something I've been saying for the entire day. I've said it to most of the Scarborough Mason players and fans. I've said, you know, once CNB gets a final and Marcus Daniel has a say, you can expect something great. CNB, Scarborough Mason rather, are going to hope to eject him from the middle of the wicket as soon as possible. And with 2 right-handers at the wicket now, Christian Adams can employ his 5th bowler, another wrist spinner in Nicholas Sukhdeo Singh.
Yes, as I told you at the beginning of the commentary stint, I was shocked when I saw Marcus playing. Because as I tell you, I thought he would have hung up his playing boots and gone more into the administrative part of things. So when I see him out there today, I said he probably would have recalled his decision. And you are quite right, a lot will be on his shoulders. But Sukhdeo Singh will have another idea, as that one is played to Taunton there.
Yeah, and these two guys, I mean, I'm looking at Marcus Daniel trying to instill some calm into Elton Cruikshank. These two guys have a lot of banter between themselves, and they're gonna probably want a partner more than have that banter right now.
And it looks as though Cruikshank is not reading the leg spin of Sukhdeo Singh. He's not getting the ball off the square.
I can tell you firsthand, Nicholas Sukhdeo Singh has the variations. I would have gotten a few runs against them, but
loud appeal.
I would have seen a few of the variations, the googly in particular.
Yes, and that was just one delivered there. He looks as though he's releasing from a point where there isn't much restriction from the bowling arm to be able to execute those deliveries. He's given it a chance in terms of his delivery stride and pattern, so I could understand why the googly, or the wrong one as we say, which will be stock delivery, and he just nearly accounted for Elton there.
Yeah, and I was just alluding to Omar Lee James earlier, and you saw a bit of it right
and
there.
Cruikshank is going high and handsome. The veteran Elton Cruikshank has just shown why you can never count him out. And I can assure you, Mr. Prasad, if that contributes to victory, we wouldn't hear the last of it from Cruikshank over the coming weeks.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot to say going into the T20 tournament, and a lot to say to his captain about where he would like to bat as well.
And thanks to Tobago Sports Live Instant Replay, we can see the pose. There was some work for the cameraman there.
Yeah, pretty good shot executed by Elton Cruikshank. Another one pulled down by Nicholas Sukhdeo Singh this time. Stayed a bit low, not the tallest bowler by any means, so Cruikshank just hits it out too long on for another single.
So Daniel on strike now. CNB 77 for 4. In over number 11, bowled by Sukhdeo Singh. He'll be bowling to the dangerous Marcus Daniel.
Yeah, and I mean, I was alluding earlier to the amount of wickets lost by the CNB United team, and now they've lost an additional 3 wickets, so they're not going to want to lose too many more wickets. Marcus Daniel seemed to have made up his mind months ago that he was going to play a 4 defense to this delivery.
He looks so. He looks as though he's trying to preserve himself. So after 11 overs,
7 for 4.
CNB in pursuit of 161. They are 77 for 4 wickets after the 11th over.
As you hear the DJ takes effect, the team trying to get a little bit of fluids. The umpire is urging them to do it as fast as possible. And you see all the youngsters of Scarborough Mason Hall ensuring that their senior compatriots are hydrated and can continue to hopefully run to victory.
Correct. Look as though Taunton will bowl out. Is there bowling to the evergreen Cruikshank? And Cruikshank is cutting that one. It is running. It looks as though the outfield. Oh my goodness, he just nearly did himself some problems there. But he would have sent it back safely.
The spikes are not going to take all the effect that it can take on this kind of slippery outfield. And there's no way of getting it dried now with the sunlight gone.
So, Taunton is back at the top of his mark. Bowling to Cruikshank. And Cruikshank is going with that one. Let us see. Oh! In and out. And he lived to tell another day there. Cruikshank is reversing now,
James,
where he probably would have wanted to hit that.
That is not expected of Orlando James. I mean, a lot of times he might have the glove on, but he will not be happy with himself putting down Elton Cruikshank at this stage of the game.
He looks as though the veteran Cruikshank is not going to waste much time out there. He looks as though he's going after the bowling. Taunton is past the umpire. And a swing and a miss from Daniel there. The old adage of if you miss, I hit probably would have come in if that was a straight delivery.
Yeah, Marcus Daniel seeing the length a bit short, but the ball never got up for the pull shot.
And Daniel.
Yeah, Marcus is not going to miss it twice.
Yes. You can't bowl that twice. 6 runs off the bat of Marcus Daniel there.
You saw him do the correct thing this time rather than try to play off the back foot. He got out in front and executed a slug sweep rather than a pull, because Thornton, who has been hitting the right lengths so that the batsman could not come forward. So the slug sweep and is probably the best shot that you can go up against him right now with the length that he's bowling.
The CMB men is making a charge here. The Mason Hall men will be looking to try and curtail them or restrict them. So the think tank of the Mason Hall camp will probably have to come up with some plans to get rid of these two. Let us see how it will go as Taunton passes the umpire there to bowl to Daniel again. And Daniel is going again, but this one didn't quite get the contact that he wanted. So it just fall just before the field out there. So he's waiting. 86 for 4, over number 12 in progress.
Yeah, this is getting, the closer CNB gets, the more you favor them, because they have the batting repertoire to get them home. Scarborough Mason Hall needs to get a few more wickets to stem the flow of runs as well.
And that one is gone, it peels off the edge. So Cruikshank, in an attempt to try and get rapid runs, he will have to head back to the pavilion rapidly. Taunton strikes again. CMB just lost their 5th wicket with the score on 86.
Yeah, I saw a couple of batsmen get up when Elton Cruikshank was out. I saw Ansel Ned almost make his way onto the field. And apparently Marcus Daniel requested the stalwart Joel Boyce to come and level out and steady this innings whilst he does his work from the other end.
The new batsman is Joel.
So Joel Boyce, one of the more calmer heads. So apparently Daniel tell himself, we need a little calm head while I do the attacking. Apparently he has resigned that will be the mode of operation going forward from here now.
Yeah, it would have been not a bad attempt at clearing the infield by Elton Cruikshank, not making the contact that he needed to. But anything with a bit more bat could have easily scored it away to the boundary as well.
So over number 12, 13? Is it 13 about to be bowled?
Yeah, this is over number 13, about to be bowled.
By Sukhdev Singh. They will want to get a move on here. And Daniel is swinging that one out to Duncan. Elementary pickup. And one more valuable runs to the total.
Every time Marcus Daniel hits that ball into the outfield, it's getting a bit more wet and harder for the bowlers to grip, as well as a bit more heavy. So Marcus Daniel need to make the right amount of contact to get that over the boundary.
So he's probably aiding his pursuit here. And poor keeping from the keeper there.
Yeah.
Runs being donated to the total, buys to be a bit more specific.
O'Malley
And you can
James
see that
switched
the
off.
bowler is a bit upset at
Yeah,
that.
O'Malley James switched off a bit there. He probably thought Boyce would have made contact with a ball flighted on the off stump line. But Boyce didn't make any contact and O'Malley James was nowhere to be found.
I don't think Sukhdev Singh will want to bowl that to Marcus Daniel. And Daniel is swinging at that one. He didn't make the contact. He didn't make the contact that he wants. So, look, he's now rehearsing probably what he should have done or what he wanted to do. This is really getting down to the nitty-gritty stage here. Over number 13 in progress. A rather quiet Scarborough Mason camp. Let us see how it will go. And that one is high. It's high. Let us see. Oh my goodness. You cannot drop Marcus Daniel in a situation like this. But the attempt was valiant. But he would have made the grounds, Mr. Prasad, gotten there and would have just failed to execute. Could that be the title gone there?
Mr. Benjamin, this is shades of deja vu for me. I can tell you from personal experience, I have dropped Marcus Daniel in that same position in 2 back-to-back finals. You do not drop Marcus Daniel in finals.
Catch him though!
That one is high in the air. Oh my goodness. Another attempt.
Joel Boyce probably picking it up more than anything else there. Good attempt by, I think that's Keston Rodney out on the cover sweeper boundary. Got a hand to it, but just couldn't stick.
So we're witnessing a really exciting end here. As he leave that one.
I would have played alongside Joel Boyce for the Tobago senior team as well in his more fruitful years, and a batsman that you can rely on.
Yes. And there's an appeal there. The umpire decision is final and players must respect that. Oh yes, Joel Boyce over the years have been one of the better players on the island, scoring runs against some quality bowling from Trinidad.
3 for 5.
There'll be a lot of hope, but I think somewhere he would have lost the interest or the hunger for the game. Hence he would have dwindled down his career at an age when you probably think he still had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in time he was opening batting with a close friend of mine, Rafael Estrado. And I can tell you that entire season there was not an opening partnership less than 50 runs. And the bulk of the scoring was done by Estrada, but Joel Boyce played his role to the best that I've seen anyone who is not the type of power hitter that you would expect.
So over number 14 about to start. Looks as though it will be bowled by Keelan Lynch.
Yeah, this is
CMB 93 for 5.
This is thinking by Christian Adams now, employing his leg spinners to the right-handers, rather than feed them into the pads with off-spin bowling. Then starts with a wide.
1 run donated to the total there by Keelan Lynch. The evening is up on us here at Mariah. Wide ball again.
I don't know how good your view is at home, but what I'm looking at on the replay screen, the lights seem to be pretty good here. It doesn't seem that way from where we're sitting, but it does look a lot better on your screen.
A play and a miss. A play and a miss from Daniel there.
O'Marley James is leaking a bit of runs now. Somebody needs to have a little word with him and just tell him to switch back on.
Apparently Adam should probably stay where he is or come up a little bit more to compensate for the shop of errors from James.
Yeah, you can't relax at this stage of the game, not in a final.
And that delivery is left alone there.
Umpire Russ does not extend the arms far wide at the request of the CNB supporters.
And he's hitting that one down to the man. Picked up easily by another James, I think.
Yeah, that is Orlando James at long off. Would have just put down Elton Cruikshank, but Elton Cruikshank is now no more, so you will feel a bit more relieved.
Very good delivery from Lynch there, and Daniel had to show the equal respect. I don't think in all the years I would have been witnessing cricket in Tobago, I don't think I would have ever seen a better effort by the grounds people to make sure play, and a lot of respect shown to Lynch there. It's a good delivery, and when you bowl good deliveries, you have to show respect, but as we know in this version, good deliveries and all can go the distance.
Yeah, CNB will be required to get some good deliveries away at some point as well.
Pass Thornton.
Boyce again punches.
James comes around there.
To long off another single, and this is what Joel Boyce is going to bring when we speak of calm to the innings. Not necessarily coming forward and play defensive shots for no runs, but turning over the strike back to Marcus Daniel. 99 for 5 after 14 overs, 6 overs remaining. CNB now require another 62 runs for victory. This is going to be a crack of a finish as long as Marcus Daniel is there, Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, you are quite correct, because if you can see out in the middle there, Mr. Daniel is probably running by Joel Boyce, how they are going to approach this. Now, if you had to close your eye and choose a pair to try and bring this home for the CMB team, it's those two. They have been doing this for CMB for quite a number of years, so I'm sure that they would have been in this position before. But as you may very well know, you can be as experienced as the word experience. Pressure cares about no player.
Yeah, as we discussed earlier, there's still a bit of batting in the camp, but you want to win the game with the pair at the crease.
And that one really light up the eyes of Joel Boyce there. When he saw it, he tell himself, I have a chance here, but he did not make the contact that is required.
Yeah, so you're saying flight in that one, just enough to entice the shot, but it didn't get there. And Boyce got an inside edge and got off the mark. Again, putting Marcus Daniel back into strike. Sukhdev Singh trying to dry the ball. He doesn't want to err in line or length.
As Daniel is going at that one, he didn't make the contact that he want.
Yeah, he used his feet, something you don't usually see from Marcus Daniel.
Over number 15 in progress here.
That was pretty strange, but it's the occasion as well.
Probably got to him, he tell himself he probably would have to try something a bit out of his character. Joel Boyce takes a look around there. Apparently, he's probably targeting that side of the field. That one nearly cleaned him up there. And there's an attempt there.
Yeah, I think that was the wrong choice from the fielder there. Going to the closest end, Marcus Daniel was struggling to get to the striker's end.
Probably should have gone for Mr. Daniel's end.
Yeah, Sukhdev Singh in the
Passes
ball
the
under
umpire
delivery.
now. And Daniel was looking to hit that one somewhere around where we are seated here. You might have had to
take cover.
I wasn't thinking quite cover. I thinking take the catch to save the other members of the crew, knowing that you are the active player.
No, Mr. Benjamin, I only take catches for beers, as you would know from the CPL.
Yes, and it's coming, it's coming.
And so it's done.
Just as we said. As you may, yes, I remember your exploits at the CPL. Taking the catch and winning that tournament one-handedly. So Marcus Daniel is in a hurry here. You can't bowl wrong long hops to Marcus Daniel.
I think the Scarborough Missional team now are gonna need to bring back Joshua James and Dejan Charles to try and get Marcus Daniel out sooner rather than later.
Those are sentiments that I endorse and I echo, because I think these spinners will be taken to the cleaners. As he did not make the contact that he probably would have wanted with that one. So can I safely say it's the end of 15 overs? 109 for 5. 109 for 5 at the end of 15 overs. So the final 5 overs, Mr. Prasad, would you say favor CNB or evenly poised?
52 runs in 5 overs. This is just above 10 runs per over. On a ground that is not massive, should not be too much of a task for CNB. The fact that they're 5 down is going to be the issue. Marcus Daniel cannot afford to get out. Probably needs to take it all the way home. And with the fact that there seems still to come in lights that are not totally conducive for batting, Marcus Daniel has to get these runs earlier rather than later.
I fully agree with you there, as he sets himself to wait on Keelan Lynch. He sets himself to wait on Keelan Lynch here. You know you can only play what is in front of you. For a lot of years, Marcus Daniel have been accused with the tag of being a Tobago bully. He will need to bully Lynch here to take his team to victory, as Lynch bowls a very good delivery here. Apparently Marcus is not confident with his willow. He's asking for a change of willow.
I think you'd have broken the handle, keeping that Yorker out. Can tell you that bat is one of my personal bats that he would have taken ownership of.
So you would know its effect. Lynch is trying to keep a good grip here, as Marcus Daniel changes his instrument, structured for trying and make CMB champion. And one is wide and high, but he did not make the contact that he wanted. I think Lynch could count himself lucky there.
Yeah, Marcus missing out on another full toss there. Could have easily gone for 6. Boyce is gonna have
really
to.
close here.
Boyce is gonna have to contribute in some way to getting 10 runs per over.
This is getting really close here. And Boyce is going with that one. Magnificent cricket shot from Joel Boyce. That is not a slug, that is a cricket shot.
And you would have seen in the previous over, Joel Boyce would have hit one from Sukhdev Singh over the extra cover region. Rarely you'll see captains employ that fielding position, so batsmen that can execute that shot most times are going to get a boundary.
Exactly, and Joel Boyce showing his worth and class here. We are getting into the wee hours of Sunday evening here at the Moriah Recreation Facilities. Wonderful cricket action. And Boyce is sweeping that one. They're going to have to hurry.
And almost on request, I was saying that Joel Boyce has to contribute in some way to get in 10 runs per over, executes an exquisite extra cover drive for 6.
Yes, and then get the dangerous Marcus Daniel on strike. So that's 7 so far. Let us see how Lynch will end. He bowls to Daniel. And Daniel hitting that one high. That is high. It is high. It is high. And it is taken. My goodness gracious me. Has he just taken the title away there from CNB? Marcus Daniel has to head back to the pavilion and think of that shot that he just played. Is that the game? Is that the game? Tune into Tobago Sports Live to find out.
Yeah, I think Joshua James reacted a bit late. I don't know if it's the darkness of the outfield that he picked it up a bit late, but he did eventually get there and took the catch. Walking to the wicket now, Ansel Ned.
So Captain Ned at the wicket there now. So we have Captain Ned at the wicket there. He will have to face up to Keelan Lynch. And he's going with that one. That one is high also. Let us see if it is 2 and 2. Oh my goodness. He did not have to move. Ansel Ned goes. And the men from Scarborough Mason Hall are marching towards the title here. What are we witnessing here? What are we witnessing here? I think we are witnessing what you call capitulation on behalf of the CMB men. But Anroy Devines is more than capable. What do you say, Mr. Prasad?
I think Ansel Ned just decided that the leg spinner was going to be in his arc. I don't think that the ball was not in his arc by no means. As you see on the replay, pitched up outside our stump. Ned made some contact, just not enough to take it all the way. And has to return to the camp of the CNB outfit and watch on to see if Anroy Devines and Joel Boyce can figure a way out to take them home.
So, in over number 16, CMB in pursuit of 117. They are 117 for 7 in pursuit of 161. Anroy Devines, and I know Anroy could be very, very destructive. He will have to prove that reputation here as we witness the beginning of over number 16. Is it 17?
Yeah, this is the beginning of over number 17. Umpire McKenna signaled the power play.
That's high. That's high. That's feeling for your money. Thornton has just displayed a serious control and understanding of aerodynamics mixed with his control of his biomechanical setup to execute such great piece of feeling there.
Yeah, I think he did fairly well to keep it in play. I think the umpires are consulting whether he was beyond the boundary before he elevated himself.
Looks as though it's clean from the replay. And Devines is going. Oh my goodness gracious me! Scarborough Mason Hall is throwing away this game.
Akko George.
Of all the people.
Akko George, the guy
who
demands 110% from his teammates and himself. Puts down a sitter.
Sukhdev Singh to Joel Boyce here. We are in over number 17. We are in over number 17 here. A good feeling there. But this is looking as though it's going to head down to a very tight finish. A very close finish. Are we going to witness a cliffhanger here? As Devine swings at that one. And they come through to add one to the total. Over number 17 in progress here. CMB 121 for 7. Remember, they are in pursuit of 161 for victory. Sukhdev Singh here on the passes umpire. Balls to Boyce. Boyce is swinging at that one. Let's see. Oh my goodness. And CMB are capitulating here. That's the end of Joel Boyce. That's the end of Joel Boyce. And is it the end of CNB hopes of being 40 over champions here? Time will tell. But the Scarborough Mason men are clawing their way back into proceedings here.
Akku George is not going to make that mistake twice.
So a play and a miss. We are heading to the exciting end here.
Yeah, I think Scarborough Mason are ahead of the game now. It's going to take something special.
And he swings that one away.
For the Veins and Coordinator to pull this off.
What over are we in? Are we in over number 18?
Yes, this is the 18th over being bowled. So
18th over.
It's gonna
Lynch is trying to get a grip and a hold of things. Is he currently gripping the title also? That one is in the air. Let us see. Is it in the gap? Comes along by the fielder. At this time, they should be looking to get as much as they can. But the Scarborough Mason men are feeling very well down there.
Yeah, this is all Scarborough Mason now to lose. Once the bowlers do not give away boundary balls, Scarborough Mason are
a play and a miss there from the Veins. The CMB men are making it really difficult here. He's swinging at that one, but at this stage, the Mason men would not mind that.
This is now at the stage where someone needs to calm the batsmen down and explain to them what is the exact required rate. Corner tries to get it away, but there's only enough for a single. There's just 2 overs remaining after this, and CNB United now require 38 runs.
So we at the end. We at the end of 18 overs.
From 2 overs.
36 runs from 12 balls. 36 runs on 2 overs.
Shaquille Duncan reintroduced into the attack.
Shaquille Duncan from Sutherland.
And with only Ezekiel Jofil in the batting camp remaining for Scarborough Mason, for CMB United, it has to be this pair.
So he hits that one down the ground there.
.36 runs from 11 deliveries. Levine slips, O'Malley fumbles, and Levine gets home.
So we into the business end of things here. We in over number 19. C and B need to get a go on things here.
Still requiring another 33 runs from 10 deliveries. Not inside edge to win this game from here.
Exactly. So as it stands,
Duncan bowls again and corner swinging and missing. Marley has an attempt at a run out and misses the stick, so another single to
the total
the CNB total.
singles is not what is required at this moment. So I think that the men from Canaan Bonaccord is missing a trick here.
That is
And
a
that
no
one-
ball hit for 4.
Let us wait
A
for
no ball
the
for height. Hit for 4. This is a mistake by Shaquille Duncan.
So if this, the turning of the table here, if this a chance that the CMB men have to try and possibly crawl their way back, or is it a little too late?
Levine's doing well to put away the full toss. Might have been tempted to take evasive action, but knowing the situation of the game, he hit that to the boundary for 4. It's into the 20s required now. Duncan
A play and a miss.
outside the off stump and Levine's misses on the free hit.
So Devine sets himself. Another play and a miss.
Yeah, 133 runs now at the end of the 19th. This is slipping away from CNB.
Balls to get 26 runs.
So 26 from the final over, Mr. Passad. Is it a little too high a mountain?
I think with the sizes of the boundary, it's not beyond the reach, but any betting man now will place his money on Scarborough Mason. Kerry Cordner or Anroy Devines has to hit 5 6s in this over.
A play and a miss. No connect there from Cordner.
5 balls to get 26 runs.
Here is Lynch to Cordner. Another play and a miss from Cordner there. He's looking at the umpire to see what will be the signal.
And now it's out of the reach of the CNB men, unless there are extra deliveries.
Exactly so. So I think the band is already starting to warm up. Unless we witness one of the greatest miracles in cricket here. That is not going to cut it. I don't think that the Mason Hall men will mind that at all.
25 runs from 3 deliveries is virtually impossible unless there are extra deliveries.
That also goes for boundaries. Probably not just extras. They probably need to go for boundaries also.
CNB losing wickets at the wrong time and are now in a situation where
That is what he should have. That is what the doctor would have ordered. But
bit
probably a little too late.
too little, too late.
2 balls to get 19. To get 19.
And beaten finalists in 2019. Scarborough Mason all now have gone all the way. Well, are on their way to going all the way.
And we can safely say, I think we can safely say that Scarborough Mason Hall led by The ever impressive Brian Brown. And that one is in the air. It doesn't matter.
Catch drop, but it's all over for the Kenan Monaco men.
Victory to Scarborough Mason Hall. And look at the jubilant celebrations there. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the Scarborough Mason Hall team. They are the victorious team here today in the Tobago Cricket Association 40 over final at the Mariah Recreational Ground here. And the celebrations are well on its way. And you're witnessing good sportsmanship there. You're witnessing good sportsmanship from Scarborough Mason Hall and the CNB. They're congratulating the defeated men from Canaan Bonaccord. So ladies and gentlemen, after being challenged by inclement weather earlier on when we came here, the ground staff and all the help from everybody would have to be on and off. Players and all joined in helping the ground staff, making it possible for play to be possible here today. And I must say, it was an exhibition of patience and passion for this game. Why we can say that we have cricket here today. And at the end of it all, Scarborough Mason Hall, the champions of the 2022 Tobago Cricket Association 40 over finals, brought to you live here by Tobago Sports Live. Congratulations to all who played a part, to all who played a role, all who contributed to making this broadcast possible, to making this broadcast effective and efficient, to the technical crew, to Tobago Sports Live and its technical crew. Congratulations also to them on a job well done, because without you guys, a lot of people who would not have been able to make it here would not have been able to see the proceeding. But thanks to Tobago Sports Live, they were able to be catered for from the comfort of their home. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Scarborough Mason Hall, the champions of the TCA 40 overs competition. Congratulations to them. And we now move on to the ceremonial proceedings. Celebrations continue. The celebrations continue. Want to say congratulations again to the winning team.
some water.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here to have a chat with an individual that I'm no stranger to, but more appropriate and more currently, the victorious captain of the TCA 40 over final, Christian Adams. It wasn't an easy one, it was nerve-wracking, emotions were up and down. Kindly share with the viewers how you were able to compose your men and get them over the line.
Well, I must say, thanks to the Almighty for giving us a little period to continue the game so we could get a result. The game, after a long wait, well, the game ebbed and flowed. It was there for the winning by either side. I think the team that kept their composure right down to the end would have come out victorious, and I think we did that. On most parts, in certain situations, we played them well. We didn't panic. We didn't press the panic button too early. Even while batting, we started off. We didn't get a typically good start that we may have wanted, but we recovered through some good batting from James and Charles, and coming down in the end, George, Duncan, Young, Orlando James play a cracking knock. At his age, I think he was very mature how he handled his situation. In the field while we bowl, we after a terrific start, first ball, a wicket from Charles, and then we continue from there. We know we had to keep the pressure on. The wicket was taking more pace, balls coming onto the bat, so up for spinners that made the change in the game. And with some good feeling, we did put down some catches, but due to the condition, I wouldn't go too hard on the players. But all in all, it was a great effort, a great holistic team effort, and we came out with the victory.
You mentioned holistic. It's a team sport. You also mentioned the conditions and challenges when we arrive here. Credit must go to the officials, the ground staff, even your players. I see a couple of your players out there getting soil and sun and to be able to fix the playing area to make it playable. I want to ask you this, Mr. Adams. You as a veteran in the game, a guy who would have played the game for a number of years, you believe that with the youngsters amongst you who would have helped you to be victorious tonight, you believe that the game is in a good place on the island?
Certainly, it is in a good place. It's just to nurture the talent that is coming up. We have a lot of talent. Not only on my side, but I saw terrific knock yesterday from Keel Ross. We know it have Yorkie, James, the James brothers, a lot of them coming up. A good couple of players. We saw a good spell from the CNB pace bowler. He had a good length. He bowled pretty good. He kept us in check. Yeah, so it's in good hands. It's just to keep the cricket going. They did fought well to get the game started, and that was good. They show a very good interest in the game, and that is good. Once they continue that love and, they had to respect the game, must pay respect to the game. Yeah, they should be in good. It is in good hands.
So finally, for the viewers here, you are champion of the TCA 40 over. I want to push the envelope a little bit. How about the double in completing the T20 also?
You take the same effort. We don't go about brag and boast. We try to play cricket the way it's supposed to be played, use with skill, with talent, and try to carve out as much victories as possible. We are trying our best to get to the other stage. We're losing some players along the way, but we still will put in the effort. The younger players coming in, as the coach said, it is a program where young players keep coming. They always showing the interest. We had people as young as 11 years old. We had Malik, and they showing interest up and down. As you see, pulling covers, rolling the pitch. And these are the things we did throughout the tournament. We don't do it here alone. We do it in Roxburgh, pull off the covers, roll the pitch, because we know we want to play the game and we know we wanted to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all hear it there from the victorious captain, the experienced veteran Christian Adams. He and his Scarborough Mason Allmen successfully here tonight. Let me leave him and give him a chance to go and celebrate and be with his troops. Congratulations again, Mr. Adams, on your victory tonight, and well played.
All right, thank you. Thanks, sir.
Mr. Ned, probably not the circumstances under which you want to be here, but you have been in this game long enough to know that when you step out onto the field of play, the result can go either two ways, which is victory, and in your case, it's defeat tonight. You care to give your opinion on where you think probably would have contributed to you all coming up 16 runs short and being on the losing end tonight?
I think we probably lose way in the middle overs. We lost too many wickets in the middle overs that contributed. I mean, the run rate was about 10 over when I went to bat. I faced one ball, sadly enough, but so it goes sometimes.
Yes, indeed. But I also want to go a little further. Coming out of anything, whether it's victory, that is quite correct. We all were impressed with the youngster bowling. So, Mr. Ned, commiserations and all the best going forward in the season. I know the season will end there. I know you will pull your troops together, you will regroup from this, and you all will come strong again in the T20.
Oh yes, most definitely. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the losing captain there from CNB, Ansel Ned.
Got it. This mic working, right?
Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a part. Calling C and B, calling Scarborough Mason Hall. Calling C and B, Scarborough Mason Hall. Come front, please. C and B and S and M. Just come left of the mic man, please. Calling C and B. C and B, come please. Calling the runner-up. Calling the runner-up, C and B. Just come live. Just come to the left of the cameraman, please. Calling the captain of C and B. Right. He will be receiving all the medals for the players. Hard luck, better luck next time.
Them supposed to come first collect the medals, and then them collect the medals. It's supposed to. When Liverpool run on, you make a truck come in, and they just stay right there, them a ball and crying, you have to just take a medal and everything.
Yes, Mr. Ned, receiving his medals for all the players for C and B.
Too much? Too much? Wait, one more? Go ahead.
Nice. That is Mr. Ansel Ned, captain of C and B. So we have some presentation to make. We have some presentation to make. Most runs, 197 runs. Mr. Dario Melville, sorry. Is anyone around to receive? Call a representative to receive Mr. Melville. Most runs of the tournament, 197 runs. Nice. Most wickets of the tournament, 15 wickets. Most wickets, Mr. Anthony Providence. Come and receive your medal. Come and receive your trophy, Mr. Ansel. Nice. Smile for the camera, Mr. Providence. Man of the match. We have the man of the match today. The man of the match, Mr. Dijon Charles. 36 runs. 1 wicket. 36 runs and 1 wicket. Congratulations, Mr. Charles. And one of the most outstanding trophy, most valuable player of the tournament, Anthony Providence. 15 wickets, 101 runs. Mr. Anthony Providence. Oh, yes. Congratulations, Mr. Providence. At this time, I want to call the captain. Calling the captain of S&M, Scarborough Misnall, Mr. Adams. Congratulations, Mr. Adams, of winning this outstanding tournament. Yeah! Mr. Adams, I'm asking to stay just as you are. Stay. You will be collecting the winner's trophy. Once again, the winner's trophy goes to Scarborough Misnall, Mr. Adams. Christian Adams.
Watch out the parties tonight. Because you can body the people better be trouble.
Well done, well done, well done. S&M.
Watch out the parties tonight. Because you can body the people better be trouble. Just watch out we cause it trouble. Everybody bragging buttons. Well, I'm doing buzzing trouble. Somebody give me a look to watch up this mess. Front to the back, jump around there. Whole nation is madness in here. Bring everything we're up in here. Show them out there, show them out there. Front to the back, jump around there. Whole nation is madness in here. Bring everything we're up in here. Show them out there. Look, they want me already, they gon' push me out, Lord. Right up, brother. Right up, boy. You see that kind of stupidness is not allowed, Lord. Right up, brother. Right up, boy. Why they know what good for them, they don't listen to be kind of music and rhythm.
Once again, let me pay respect to the president, Mr. Corbin John, and the executive for making this one a success. Yes. Just remember,